SwarnRacing.com podcast. I believe it'll be 82 or 83 with Vito DiCarlo. So thanks for coming on here and talking to me for about an hour or so.
No, of course, man. Thanks for having me on. This is a first time experience for me, so kind of new to this. So leave me the ropes.
Sure. So Keith's podcast is if ever I ask you a question and you might not even know the answer, just keep talking. Just know one word answer. It's advice. Sometimes in the past, I've said to people, maybe who are younger, who have come on here, and I ask them like, "Oh, tell me about your race, and you having a good time?" They say, "Yep."
Yeah, honestly, with me, you're probably gonna have to tell me to shut up because I'm kind of a talker. So you might have to be all right. Listen, maybe I won't ask too many questions with this guy.
Oh yeah, you can questions. We can go back and forth. I said it might be 82 or 83 because that's what I did with Chloe Jones. She's a British super sport junior rider over there overseas in the UK, but she has an announcement that we talked about that hasn't been officially announced yet. So I got into wraps for the next couple of weeks. So yours might jump to hers. I'm not sure what to do.
So I was going to say that too. I have an announcement I have to make on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm pretty much announcing my sponsor. I mean, we can talk about it now, but if it's all right, we could kind of post the podcast after Saturday because I'll pretty much be announcing I'll be riding for Hudson Valley Motorcycles. They're going to be supporting me this year. So I'll be hopping on with them and riding with them and hopping on a ZX10. So I'm excited, man. Very excited for the race season coming.
That'll be a new challenge.
Definitely a new challenge, 100%, and a fast challenge. Unfortunately, it's I rode a 1000 once. I was on a 600 before, an R6, literally like a clapped out, R6, like stock motor, obviously suspension, stuff like that. But when you saw it in the paddock, you'd be like, "Who the hell's riding that piece of crap?" You know what I'm saying? Like it was not a clean bike. But somebody asked me to actually race their ZX10. And I hopped on it and I fell in love. Like it's one of those bikes. Like the power is just unreal, man. Like you really got to hold on to that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, holy, this is a motorcycle. But it was a good experience for sure.
And easy to control. Would it seem like it's too much power at times, or was it manageable?
Well, it's so I rode it at Summit, and Summit is definitely a horsepower track. It's one of those tracks where like you can open up the bike. And coming around turn 3, you're really you're kind of getting on it, you're back to it, and that front wheel is just up, and I'm not used to that, so I'm just like, holy shit. And it's just like a horse rocking you. But it was, I mean, you could definitely use the power once. If I was on the bike long enough and got used to it, obviously I'd be able to use it a little bit more. But I literally just hopped on it, and without even riding a 1000, didn't have the bike set up to me or anything like that, just hopped on and raced. I did pretty well too, not horrible, but I think if I was on the bike, I could have managed to do a little bit better.
For sure. And for people who don't know, you are a expert motorcycle racer, technically still amateur, I believe, with CCS and.
So with CCS, I'm an expert racer. I'm actually getting my pro card this year. I should be making my Moto America debut at New Jersey. I'm looking to probably do 2 rounds this year, whether it be New Jersey. Actually, I might even make it a little bit earlier, Pitt, but 100% is going to be Jersey, and most likely either Pitt or Barber as well. But that's my plan for this year, is to kind of make my debut. But it's all going to depend on if I can even handle this 1000. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't even ridden one yet. I haven't even ridden it yet. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely pumped to take it to the next step.
So you've been 600 before, is that right?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
You've been riding a 600 in the past, is that right?
Yeah, so I basically started racing the R6. My first bike was a Gixxer 750, and I was just a regular street squid like anyone else. Just bought the bike, riding on the street. And a buddy of mine was like, "Hey man, hit the track. You should really get off the street, stop riding." So I'm like, "All right, I'll give it a shot." Tried it out, and then just fell in love. I've actually only been riding for about 3 years now, but I picked it up very quick, and I just went with it.
And so did you have any family that was involved with racing before, or did you just kind of learn everything as you went?
No, just literally learned as I went. I was just one of those people, just like someone told me to do something, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And I just, put it to it. And realistic, like motorcycle, I feel like riding a motorcycle isn't necessarily hard. Okay. I feel like it just takes a lot of seat time and a lot of balls too. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily like you have to be some gun-ho guy, but, you know, to say, okay, I'm going to lean the bike this way and twist the throttle and fucking, if my ass is coming out, my ass is coming out. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of got to go with it, you know. But I think a lot of the time, because you could get a lot of people who know, that can teach you, okay, that can say, hey, this is what you have to do, but it's a lot harder for people to actually put it together and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. It's easy to tell someone how to do it. It's harder to go out there and show someone how.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with people, because, you know, I'm, like I said, I'm still so new to the sport. I'll take as much information as possible, you know, like even if I'm a little bit quicker than someone can still help me out. And, you know, I love that this sport, you can do that in, where it's like, you don't have to be the best to show someone how to, you know, get better as a rider. You know, that's the great thing about this sport.
You know, there's so many different styles. The olden days, people would sit more upright on the bike, and now everybody's trying to drag their elbows and sometimes their helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, you know, and that's like, and that's the cool thing now. It's, you know, everyone's trying to get that elbow. Listen, I was there too. I'm like, I got to get my elbow down. You know, that's what it comes down to. But 100%, like you said, I mean, everyone has their own different styles, you know, and I guess you can't say one's right or one's wrong, you know.
Yeah, people can all make it work in different completely styles or setups, even with the same manufacturer within the same team. Because they just ride the machine differently. Maybe they use more acceleration out of the corner instead of too much brakes going in, so compromising.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see MotoGP riders and how they ride, and you don't really see too many Moto America riders, you know, riding like that, where, you know, you get guys like Fabio Quartararo, who's just elbow down every single corner, you know, shoulder on the apex. And, you know, these riders, like, even I was watching a documentary with Cam Bobier. He's just saying they're riding like at that top level, there's just riding styles so different, you know, and he's trying to adapt to that style, you know, because everyone is all different.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, are you a leg guy? Do you have any characteristics when you ride? Can someone spot you?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you a leg dangle guy? Do you have any unique characteristics?
No, I haven't got into the leg dangle yet. Okay, I have not got into the leg dangle. You know, maybe if the cameraman is at the right corner, I might say, you know what, maybe this will look cool. But no, I haven't gotten into leg dangle yet. There's one picture of me leg dangling, but it's because I blew the first turn and I'm going off the track and I just like have my foot off, like trying to catch myself. But that's the only leg dangle picture. It looks like I'm leg dangling, but I'm actually like an oh shit moment. Like, all right, I'm gonna die here. Let me try to stop as quick as possible.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, no, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, and you have the leg dangle guys. I mean, you know, until I could get to that point where I'm really backing it in and sliding it in, I don't think there's a point for me to leg dangle.
Yeah, I guess some people use it as like a ballast or different weight that's part of the route to help slow you down and stop wiggling back and forth, maybe.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, listen, the leg dangle, like I said, makes sense. I mean, you see most riders do it. I mean, at that top level, they're there. I'm just, you know, still not at that level yet. Hopefully soon you'll be able to notice. Oh, that's Vito's leg dangling out there, but right now, no, you don't see the leg dangle.
Well, it's not a proven thing to make you go faster. It's just seem to do it, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
It's definitely a proven thing to make you look cool, but not faster. Okay.
Getting ready for going pro this year. That's got to be pretty exciting. Are you really cranking down on your training? What's changing?
Yeah, so I am actually I'm getting ready pretty much for the season. I mean, I work out 5 to 6 times a week. I actually just got in with Ethan Chapuk. He's going to be with Southern Pride Performance. He's going to be helping me out, getting on his training regimen and pretty much getting in the shape that I need to. Because I know all those riders, I mean, they're in top physical performance. You know, they're riding the bike 20 plus miles, whatever it is, you know, 100 miles, hundreds of miles a week. So it's, you know, I got to definitely start pushing my body a little bit more. I've always worked out. I've always been pretty fit to be in the mix.
Get this good part out.
Yeah.
So I didn't really hear the end of that. If you want to re-say that.
So yeah, I think I definitely like I've been in, you know, decent shape my whole life, but I've played sports, you know, football, baseball, and have always, you know, been athletic, but it's just when like the first time I hopped on the bike and did like an endurance race, I was like, I can't do this. Like it's just night and day of doing a 7-lap sprint race and being out there now for, 30 plus laps. Like it really shows you, who's in control here. And that's like a turning point. You're like, wow, okay, I need to like ride the bike. I need to do this, because like I said, I've been doing this stuff for sprint races where it's like, okay, I have enough stamina to last me 10 minutes, but after that, it's like, I'm done, So I've been trying to get on the bike. Yeah, like
it's a deficit to not have full races at the amateur level.
Hold on, you're breaking up again. You hear me?
Yeah, do you think it's a bad thing to not have full races at the amateur level? Like if you had the same type of races or same distance at the amateur level, pro?
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I actually think it's a pretty good thing because 95% of the people who are going to race at an amateur level aren't going to take it to a pro level, or aren't going to take it to the next step. So the best thing for them now is just to get out there and get as many races as they can under their belt. Because if they did do it that length, you'd probably only have, 1 to 2, 3 races a day, if that, you know what I'm saying, at those amounts. So it's good to have these short sprint laps where you can go out there, have your fun. I mean, listen, club racing is just to have fun, man. Like you're out there with your buddies, you're out there, you want to get someone on the inside, that's the whole thing about club racing. You're out there with your buddies, you're having fun, it's not like you're like, okay, this is business now. Let's get down to it. I need to train every day. I need to do this, which obviously people do, of course, and that's what I'm looking to do too. But that's the good thing about the club level is it's club, it really doesn't mean much at the end of the day. We get our medals, we get our little, trophies and stuff like that, which is great, which I have hanging up and everything. I like to show them off, but it really, we all go home Monday and go back to work kind of thing,
Yeah, it's a good passion, side hustle thing to do for fun,
yeah.
get better at, and so you're going to be doing New Jersey. Now you pick those rounds just because they're close to you, or those tracks?
Yeah, so Jersey's definitely my home track. That was one of the first tracks I ever rode. I'm born and raised from New Jersey. I live in Virginia now, but New Jersey's just always been that track that just has a special place in my heart. It's just I love it. It's technical. It's one of those tracks where there's a lot of fast guys there too. Because you get a lot of competition. I think Jersey actually, in my opinion, is one of the hardest tracks to race because of the amount of fast guys that are there. Like especially in the expert group, you'll have the top 15, in the 600 class running 28s or less, which is fast, blazing fast for NJMP. So it's one of those places where it's like, okay, like you better bring your A game when you're riding there. So I'm excited to see how I'll be on the 1000 there. I'm hoping I can be pretty competitive, but yeah, that track is definitely has a special place in my heart, 100%. First place I crashed, I gotta take it in, gotta give it its respect.
What's your first crash like on a racetrack? People think, oh, have you ever crashed before? What's that like?
Yeah. Everyone's like, they think it's such a big deal. And us racers and riders, we're like, yeah, dude, we crash all the time. Like it's what we do, like it's part of the sport.
It's not a deal, but it's unfortunately it's part of it for now. What if there was like a third wheel that popped out from side to side?
Hold on, say that again, Eric. I couldn't hear you.
What if there's like a third wheel that popped out when you're about the high side? It saved you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what people, they're like, yeah, well, don't you, have a seat belt or something? I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Okay. Yeah. We have an airbag system, but it'd be nice to have that third wheel, like just pop out or something, or just like a big giant, like bubble boy around the bike. That way we just tumble and then just get back up and just keep riding,
What do you think motorcycling will look like in 100 years?
Man, honestly, I hope it looks the same. I mean, I don't know how much more technology is going to get there, but in 100 years, I mean, listen, what was it like in the 70s? I mean, honestly, motorcycles, I mean, they've come a long way, but if you think about it, they're pretty much almost the same machine that it's been, for the past, 50 years, 40 years,
There's been a huge stagnation in development from a lot of the manufacturers. Like they'll put out a bike and then not make any upgrades to that bike for 6 years, 8 years, sometimes a decade.
Exactly.
And then nothing has changed except for the year on the bike color scheme.
Yeah, the Suzuki's been the same for the past 13 years, whatever. 2011, it started the new 600 style. It's been the same ever since,
If we have 10 years a bike upgrade, maybe it's not going to change that much, but I think it's going to change a lot when it goes to more electric vehicles, because like Kawasaki and BMW and other manufacturers, I'm sure, have already committed to doing that.
Yeah. I think 100%. I think you saw it in Formula One. I love Formula One. You saw it in Formula One. Now they're going to the hybrid motor, and I'm sure eventually they'll go to full electric. And I'm sure at some point, you have the Moto E now, which obviously isn't as big, but with all these regulations happening and stuff like that, like California, you can't even buy a gas car now or something like that. It's got to be all electric. I'm not too sure, but it's just going that route. It's going electric route, which, I don't know. I don't know if it's bad or good. Who knows? Maybe electric bikes are a lot more fun to ride, but.
You have a different torque band, so it's just going to be different when you apply the power. It'd be a lot, well, I don't know. I've never been out like a CVT. There's no gears, right? Just one gear. So
yeah, that's the weird thing about it, is there is no gear. So you're kind of like, are you just throttle on and off, or like do they put in fake gears? And it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, there's no gearing to it. Just different. And
yeah.
So just something, I always think of every corner by gear, but you don't have that reference anymore.
Exactly. Especially when we're using gears to not only speed ourselves up and slow ourselves down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So that's got to play a toll. That's why I'm thinking, there's got to be some sort of chip they put in there or something to make it seem like you have gears or something. Because like you said, the EVT is just on and off.
Right.
Same thing with Tesla. There's no gears in it. I've never driven a Tesla, but I'm assuming there's no gears in that as well.
Yeah, just a totally different power system. It's cool how it all evolves. Are you a big follower of all the series like Formula One, WEC, or the 24-hour Rolex race at Daytona?
Say that again, Eric. I'm sorry.
Are you a big fan of like watching different series? I saw that there was just a Rolex 24 at Daytona this past.
Yeah, I was actually just watching that on. I think it was on YouTube TV. It was on one of the channels, but I was watching that for a little bit too. Yeah, I love all racing, man. Racing is. I was actually watching the Supercross too. Yeah, and anything that involves car. Even as a kid, that's all I dreamt about was actually motorcycles. I grew up on dirt bikes, so it was like that's all I wanted to do was hop on a bike. When a motorcycle rolled by, I'd tell them the wheelie. Everything else as a little kid. But yeah, man, I watch it all. It's the car racing. I enjoy a lot. If it didn't cost so much to do it, I'd probably be in car racing. But that's an expensive sport, and motorcycle racing is expensive enough. But when you're buying 4 sets of tires at once, it's a lot.
Yeah, and watching the Rolex 24, I haven't finished it yet, so don't give me the final spoiler. But like part 3, I just got to do part 4 and watch the next couple hours. Man,
I'll throw on like the Suzuka like 8 hours, like when I'm going to sleep or something like that. I'll just throw it on my TV and like just because that's 8 hours of TV, so I'll just like fall asleep to it and watch that and stuff. But those endurance series are no joke. And the announcers are literally doing it for 8 hours. Like you think they would like switch off? Like I was like, is this guy still talking? Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night, like it's still the same guy. It's been 7 hours. He's still talking.
That's hard to do for your voice. You can't. You gotta drink a lot of water and fluids.
Exactly. That's what you got to get into. Commentary. You'd be really good on what you think.
I have actually reached out to Moto America and I sat with them in the booth and try it out. And actually, there's a woman, Jackie Van Horn, who I've asked to come on here, and she is an announcer for Daytona. When I was there, did the ARMA event, she was an announcer down there, and I'm like, man, she's going over to like Vegas and doing the shows, like the big trade shows, and like talking for different vendors. I'm like, man, I could totally do that.
100%. That's what I'm saying, man. Like you're great on the podcast. You would definitely, I think you'd fit in well. You hop right in. Honestly, dude, like even what you should do is talk to CCS. I know they have the one announcer. I forget his name. But he always goes, boom, baby, battle, baby. What's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
You're talking about the name of him, though.
I forget his name. He's great, but you should get in, like, if he had another guy to like go off of, like, like that would be great.
I was just thinking, I bet you she makes more money commentating than I make corner working.
Oh, 100. Oh, listen, I don't know, but it seems like you be coming out the booth, everyone's asking for your autograph. Like, Eric, come here.
Right. Bigger reach. People actually hear your voice and they're like, oh, who's that? Maybe we'll check out his podcast now.
Exactly, 100%, man. I mean, that's great for getting your name out there. Like even at the events, when you're saying, okay, everyone, thanks for coming out to the races. Come, listen to the Eric Swahn podcast, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I've been just thinking how to monetize better. Now that I have 80 podcasts, I was putting some stats together. I'm like, man, maybe I should go out to companies and really like, hey, I'd like to run an ad on a podcast for you, a 30-second, 45-second, whatever it is, and for X amount of dollars, and actually start inserting those, and maybe I can make some money doing this.
Listen, I mean, you have such a good opportunity here. Such a good opportunity. Like you said, you already have 80 podcasts. You've had some very big names on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're not reaching the people. I mean, every podcast, people, that's what you get. You get ads. What I would do if I were you, I'd reach out to, like Liquid Molly, whatever, Motul, just to give out a quick 15-second ad, whatever it is. But you want to reach the motorcycle brand. You want to. I mean, everyone who's listening to us is most likely riding a motorcycle, or has a passion for motorcycles. So that's what I would do. I'd reach out to brands like that. Like, hey, a Rye. I'm sure a Rye. Hey, I ride in a Rye helmet. Like I listen to Greg White's podcast with Jason Pridmore as well. They do the same thing. They have ads for a Rye. They have ads for other motorcycle companies. Why can't you? You
got to have a big enough reach for them to be interested in doing it. So I was, like I said, putting some stats together. I think I'm over 20,000 views on YouTube now, and every podcast gets about 1,500 to 3,000 viewers. So not too bad. Just starting out, but you wish it was in the millions, but you got to start somewhere.
Listen, you got to start somewhere. Okay. You got to start somewhere. That's the problem nowadays is everyone thinks like, because you go on social media, you see these people with 1 million followers with, thousands and thousands of likes. And it's like, oh, why am I not there? I mean, obviously some people, get there pretty quick because of their looks or, attractiveness, whatever it is. But it's you just got to put in the work, man. Just got to put in the work. And like you are right now, you're already at 80 podcasts. They're all great. Like I said, you've had big names on so far. Hopefully my podcast brings it to the next level. Maybe this will be your 1 million view podcast, maybe I'll bring it there. But yeah, man, like I said, it seems like you're putting in the work. So I would 100% start reaching out to companies. That's the way to do it. And listen, like you said, you got to start somewhere, and it might not be a Rye, it might be someone else, but it's anything helps. Anything helps.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere and just keep beating on your craft. And do it at least once or twice a week. Try to keep consistent with it. Sometimes, like, my schedule is going to get pretty crazy. You probably heard me talk about it already then. But I'm doing a whole bunch of corner working events this year. And I'm going to be a MSF coach for coaching license for the state and all that.
Hell yeah. Are you gonna be corner working anytime on the East Coast?
Let me get my schedule out and I'll tell it to you here. It's kind of ridiculous. But
so what do you do? You do like the Midwest region, because you're from where? Michigan?
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, just north of Detroit. I ended up flying and traveling quite a bit. I don't mind taking a flight to go down to Florida. It kind of works out. So here we go, getting right to it here. So I already did ARMA this year at Daytona, but I'm going to be riding for Great Lakes Moto coming up near my house. Just indoor mini moto. Going to do that on Sunday, and then next March 6th I'll be doing that again. But in between, I'm going to be going to Homestead, Miami next weekend for CCS, corner working there.
Awesome.
And, I think I'll be back to St. Petersburg, Florida for the IndyCar race. That'll be my first IndyCar event, and I think I'm doing something like it's just a volunteer position, but either crowd control, like making sure people don't hang their babies over the fence.
Yeah.
Like, maybe credentials for the drivers. I'm not sure what my position is.
So have you corner worked for any Moto America rounds?
I've done 4 or 5 of them.
Wow.
I think maybe I did 8 events last year, and I plan on doing about 35 this year.
Wow.
So doing quite a few. I'll be doing Daytona at the 200.
That's a good time. Like I would do something like that because like it's a fun weekend. First of all, it's bike week, you know what I'm saying? And you get to see these freaking motorcycles doing, 180 miles an hour past you. I mean, there's nothing better than that. Yeah. And this year I'm involved even more than just corner working. I'm air fence, tear down, and deployment. So for the, like on Thursday morning, I'll be there 8 a.m. working on putting air fences all over the track. And then when we're done on
after everybody's still packing up and going home, we'll be going down the track too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's yeah, like that's fun too. You make friends, especially in the Moto America paddock. I'm sure you get a lot of you see a lot of reoccurring faces,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's great.
A lot of the same people. It's a back-breaking job. Those air fences are really, really thick plastic, and it's very heavy. So
So
it's
how do they go in? So it's like, is it just that thick plastic, and then you literally just blow air into it?
basically like a big bounce house kind of
I
thing.
was gonna say like a bounce house or something,
Yeah.
right?
And you just drag them out there. They're usually mostly inflated, and then they have like leaf blowers, and they inflate them the rest of the way. And you got to string together a certain way with the hole in the center and make sure it's all latched properly. So it's just about putting it in the right spot. And even sometimes they have double air fences, like Canada Corner at Road America. I'm pretty sure there's a double air fence there.
So what do you mean by double? It's one in front of another, or like on top of each other?
The other one, and they have a tunnel, and then there's a catch fence.
Wow. That's is Canada Corner like is it a high speed corner or something?
Yeah, it's like probably 180 mile an hour into maybe a second gear corner.
Wow. Holy shit.
For bike, the top class.
Yeah, that's no joke, definitely. I mean, that those are the leg danglers there. Okay, that's the leg dangler doing those corners.
Yeah, actually, just talked to Travis Wyman on the podcast, and then I think the next week or two, he crashed in Canada Corner, him up in that corner. He's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I didn't know that was you."
Really? See, that's funny. See, now you have a connection. You're like, "Hey, dude, I saved your life." He's like, "Oh, thanks for that, man." Thank you.
Yeah. But it's cool to be involved and to actually know the riders and for me to be in that position, because I've crashed on the track over a dozen times myself, unfortunately. So I know kind of what I want to see happen if someone's coming over to me. Don't like pull their arm because they could have a broken arm or something. You can't really touch them too much medically, but you're really just trying to clear the track surface so everybody else can continue. So it's kind of different.
And that's what I feel like we need more of, like more professional corner workers like yourself who really know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Who take it seriously, who go out there and then because you'll definitely get some people that just are kind of like there to be there.
There's a whole bunch of people since I've been doing this now more. And you start actually the same workers at different corners, and they become regulars. They're like, this is my corner. I'm always at this track at this spot, and they know it very well. They're veterans. Like one of the guys I met was in the sport for 35 years and was a racetrack operator, like a owner operator type of thing, and he was being around it. So it's kind of like a retirement job for him. But I think it'd be awesome if I could do this more often and make real at it. The problem is like Formula One, IndyCar, MotoGP pays $0 because normally it costs you hundreds of dollars to be there. So just to have that access, I'm like, I kind of get it, but I also think if this is a top-level organization, they should be able to pay the workers who are officiating the sport a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's
exactly. It's like you said, especially in Formula One, like I would freaking corner work for free. I'd probably pay to corner work for Formula One, because you're feet away from you. It's the best experience, and you can only hope for like a car breaking down or something like that in your corner, and you got to like push it or take their steering wheel or whatever they do,
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to hope for a crash, but you want to hope, that car maybe, pops a tire or something, and pulls up to your corner.
Mechanical. So I will be doing MotoGP this year at Coda.
Awesome.
And, I will be doing Formula One at my year for the inaugural race. That's awesome. So the MotoGP that's got to be sick, man. So are you allowed to like bring your phone and take videos and stuff or anything like that, like when you're out there? So you should
do a podcast mid corner while you're working with someone on the phone.
Well, the problem is the reason you're there is to look out for everybody's safety. So you can't be like on your phone distracted with something else. You have to be eyes up all the time, paying attention to what's going around you, because you could die in this position if you're not
100%.
If you're not right behind the right barrier, or stuff goes flying, you got to duck sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you could film is if it's on a tripod or like your hands off from the phone and you put it down and you step away from it. That's fine. I have a GoPro to Daytona and I filmed a little bit, but then after 2 hours my thing's dead and is just one corner facing one direction.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a tripod, okay? You're going to FaceTime, and I'm going to watch the race from your phone, okay, the entire time. Okay, that's what
I need a generator for my phone because it's going to die after an hour and a half.
That's what, if we got to get a little generator out there, we'll plug it in and get the thing going.
Yeah, pretty cool. So there's like, this will be by far the biggest event. I'm not sure if MotoGP or Formula One will have more, but I think Formula One has already over 630 confirmed volunteer.
Yeah, so, I honestly, I mean, you know, me being a motorcycle rider, I'd rather MotoGP get it, but Formula One, I think, is going to be, especially at COTA, is a massive event, huge event. Yeah. Actually, you should try to get into the one in Miami too, because it's a road course.
Yeah, I'm doing Miami. I'm doing.
Oh, you are doing Miami too.
COTA is for MotoGP.
Gotcha. So you're going to be doing Miami in Formula One and COTA for GP.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude.
So
that just changed everything else. Yeah, because being in Miami and then being a corner worker there. So how do they give you like hey, you're going to be in this corner already, or is it just you kind of go there and you kind of just
they all assign you once you get there. They because there's always people who out or couldn't make it or had other obligations that they weren't aware of. So they always make the schedules for the corners. They say, okay, who's the most senior people here? Who wants to be a corner captain? Because there's one person at an event like this who's basically the manager of that corner. They are in charge. Nothing else happens until they say so. Because a lot of times it might be your first event and you want to help out, but you don't know the right stuff to do.
Yeah.
So the corner captain's always in charge. And then they sign like their leaders, so people who are actually waving the flags, and then the runners or intervention marshals is something that I am. So the person who's actually going out and running on track and intervening with the race, maybe pushing a car or a bike or helping out the driver or rider. Those guys, you have to be young and fit because you're literally running on a hot track. So you must be careful with the danger, and you have to also be pretty experienced so that you die. You have to get permission from race control anytime you do that. So you can't just run out on a hot track because you see debris. You have to say like, hey, I see debris, permission to get it, because there's a 30-second gap because the last car just went by. You know, so you're always looking out.
It sounds like you're going to be a crew captain. That's what it sounds like.
So I'll probably be an intervention marshal because this is only my second year, even though I've already done 9 events or so. People have been doing this for decades. So I'm the young kid on the totem pole. Even though I've already been with 7 different organizations, I'm still trying to learn, and I don't know everything, but I'm trying to get better.
No, 100%, and that's what it's about. I mean, especially if they start seeing you, because I'm sure it's the same person you're dealing with in America every year, you know, kind of thing. Where I'm sure it's like, okay, Isaac's back or whatever, you know, for Formula One. So that's pretty cool, man. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and it's such a different. It's the navigating who the right bosses are or who the people to contact to do this is a little bit of a nightmare. It's all over the place because sometimes you get paid by this station that runs the corner workers, but not the racetrack. Sometimes you get paid by the racetrack, but not the organization.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place.
But it's. I thought so does Formula One pay or they don't pay?
Formula One, MotoGP, and IndyCar, as far as I'm aware, do not pay for being and intervention positions. But I'm sure if you're like part of Formula One itself, if you're on the management team, you probably get paid.
Gotcha. Now, do they give you any sort of like, because I know when you watch MotoGP, like the corner workers, they all have helmets and stuff like that. Do they provide you with that?
So I haven't, but I'm darn sure that for the main GP level events like Formula One and MotoGP, they have what's called the Orange Army. So they provide full jumps like pants and a top or a jacket. And I think some of them have helmets on as well. Those are all provided by the racetrack and pretty much Formula One or MotoGP would provide that, not the racetrack.
Yeah. You got to corner work a race for me. So if I'm in the lead, then throw a yellow flag so everyone slows down, and then go back to the green once I pass.
That's the thing, you can really have an effect on the outcome of races.
Oh, 100%. Listen,
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
there's times when I'm like, why the hell did they throw the red flag, or whatever? Because it's like the bike's not on the track or anything like that. It's not involved with anything else. And then there's times where you're like, throw the red flag, because there's a bike in the middle of the track, and you're like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, and like a great example, the last race of the Formula One season. Everybody knows that it was a huge debacle kind of thing. There's a crash on the last, really close to the last lap. The Marshals were able to clear the car from the racetrack, and because they were able to clear the car quickly enough, they were able to resume racing.
Yeah.
If they were not able to clear the car, it would have finished under a safety car. So that alone changed the outcome of your world championship.
Yeah, that was listen, I don't know who you wanted to win, but I know who I wanted to win, and I'm happy they won. Okay, but see, that's why I'm not going to say anything more than that, because I don't want to put myself, bury myself in a deeper hole. But I was okay with the outcome. I was okay with it. I think it was good the way they said, hey, we're going to let them race. Obviously, people have different opinions on that last race. It was a very controversial call, I'd say. And like you said, I mean, at the end of the day, Michael Mazepin, he gets the most, hatred towards it because it was his call, and it's calls like that can really affect the outcome of a race. Like you said, I mean, listen, it's that call that kind of, let what's his name win,
And then he was even saying, maybe I won't even come back. Maybe I won't come back to Formula One. Maybe I'll retire for a little while.
Yep.
But
it's you can really have an effect on a race. It's, pretty big effect.
Yeah.
So.
And now, Valentino Rossi is he's not really retiring. He just sports going over to the GT sports car race.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that guy. I mean, he's got the life. I mean, obviously, he's the greatest of all time. He can do whatever he wants. But I mean, that guy needs to be racing something. He's got to be in something. That's why he's been racing till he's 40 years old. He could have retired, years ago, literally, and still been the greatest of all time. But it's guys like that. Even like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the same way. He could have retired 6 years ago after his fourth Super Bowl, but he's still playing today. And he was still on the edge of like, should I retire? Should I not retire? And now he's retired.
Yeah, it's just great to see just a sportsman like that succeed and do well and be an all-around good guy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Listen, I'm a Jets fan, unfortunately, so I hated Tom Brady most of my life. But now, like, once you mature a little bit and you're like, okay, this guy's like actually like the greatest of all time. Like there's no one who's ever going to top him or beat him or anything like that. You can't. The guy's been in the league for too long. He's always put the numbers down. That's the thing. He's always been in the playoffs. Everything else. I mean, it's great to see that it was our generation too. We got to watch that.
Are you eye on any other racers up and coming? Like you got to keep your eye out for this guy or anyone you got your eye?
Yeah, so I race against a lot of Moto America guys in CCS. And one of the guys I was battling with a lot this year was Joseph Lemandry, and he's a young guy, and the kid's an absolute monster, man. I mean, he's an animal. The kid can freaking ride his ass off. It's great to see. Obviously, I always want to beat him, but I'm okay with getting beat with by a guy like that. He's the guy's got skill. He's just one of those kids that has that talent. He was trying to teach me how to wheelie one day, and I'm like, dude, I can't do it. He's just 12 o'clock in this like 1990 dirt bike, and he's just like popping the freaking gear, and I'm like, dude, I can't do that, man. But Lemandry, listen, if you're listening, Lemandry, I can still skateboard better than you. So there you go. There, you might have me on the motorcycle, but I could skateboard better than you.
Vert or street?
Huh?
Street skateboarding.
Yeah. Just doing street stuff like kickflip, whatever, ollies and stuff. I used to skateboard back in the day. So my one buddy, Ryan May, he brought a skateboard out, and Lemandry and all them, Gus Rodeo, they all like hop on the board. I'm like, listen guys, this is my thing now. Okay, let me do this. I'll show you how to do it.
Another thing is everybody's longboarding, right? Longboarding. Everybody's longboarding.
Yeah. You get a lot of dudes longboarding in the paddock and stuff like that. But we were just doing regular skateboarding on just like a regular board. But It's fun, man. It's great when they all come out. I mean, even Gus Rodeo, I mean, he's an unbelievable rider. I haven't been able to, race against him yet. But I'm sure that day will come soon, soon enough. But I'm Gus Rodeo, Anthony Mazziato, I've raced a couple times, another awesome talent in the paddock. I'm glad he's able to hop on a ride this year and get with Gus and HSBK. I'm it stinks. I'm hopping onto a bigger bike and I won't be able to race against them. But another guy too, great racer, Nolan Lampkin. He is. He's definitely going to be hopping on a bigger bike as well, I think. But he's a talent, man. He's a talent. I got to ride with him out in California at Chuckwalla, and kid can ride, man. Kid can definitely ride. I'm super excited to see him on a big bike because he's a taller guy like me. I'm a little bit bigger. And us on the 600, it's just like we look so cramped on it. We're our ass is all the way off the back seat, and it's like we're trying to get in tuck as best as possible, but we're made for big bikes. We really are. So he's definitely going to be a big name in the stock 1000 class next year for a fact. I'm calling it now. Okay.
He was moving up. That's exciting to hear. I rode with that kid years ago and track days and stuff. He was in a much smaller bike back then. He was like 13, 14 years old, but it's cool to see him progress, and he's still in it. I'm jealous.
No, yeah, 100%, man. And he got on the podium this year in the super sport class, which I think is easily the most competitive class, obviously other than superbike. But I think super sport is one of the most competitive classes in Moto America. I mean, those kids are all a tenth of a second off each other. I mean, they're really, really pushing it.
And you got guys like doing so well in super sport 600 class that they're able to go to championship.
Exactly. Literally straight from there, straight to Moto 2. And SDK, I mean, that kid is he's on another level. I mean, he's just one of those guys that just, he gets it. And what I love about SDK too is, he's your picture perfect MotoGP candidate. He can talk with the media. He's a good looking guy. He looks like the guy you want on your team. You know what I'm saying? So I thought he was the perfect fit for going to Moto 2, and he's a winner, and he puts the results down.
Yeah, I think the only blemish you can say about Swahn is I think there was some issue with his dad one time at a round that his dad got angry or something.
I think I did where his dad threw something at a rider or something like that.
I mean, there's always high tensions, and you're fighting for national championships, and things can go wrong.
No, of course. Listen. You're racing against someone at 150 miles an hour when your elbows are touching each other.
Yeah.
Like tensions are high. It's at the end of the day, everyone's nice to each other in the paddock and we're all friendly and stuff like that. But when that lid closes, you turn into a different person, and no one wants to lose. I mean, at least, when you're a competitor, losing isn't an or obviously you want to go the safe route. You see my dog in the background, just laid back there. You obviously want to do it the safest way, but it's people are going to push the limits. That's what this whole sport is about pushing the limits. I mean, no one just turns the bike at a 60-degree angle without pushing the limit. You know what I'm saying?
And then come out of it the other side still on top of it.
Exactly. Hit the nail. That's the best way to put it.
So what is someone asked me the other day, and I didn't know off the top of my head, is the max lean angle for a modern sport bike?
I think Marquez holds the record at like 63 or 65 degrees or something like that.
That's
which
like a near crash save incident, right? Like what's under?
I think so. I think that was like he lost the front, then like caught it and then picked himself back up or something like that.
Maybe
but I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. 52 sounds like a good number.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, like my bike, like I said, I mean, I've never seen what lean angle I'm at or anything like that. I don't have that technology. But I'd love to see kind of, where I'm at compared to guys like Marquez and everything else, because it'll definitely humble you, very, very quick. Very quick.
You think you're doing one thing, you look at pictures, oh no, that's not right.
Well, like even when you're out there on the track and you're riding with these Moto America guys, it's like, okay, like I'm going fast, and then they'll just like come right by and you're like, holy shit, okay, I gotta go that fast, like I gotta do that. How am I gonna fucking do that? But it's a great experience, man, because you get to see, okay, I can push it to that level, or like there's more to push, and that's where I think where it comes full circle of saying, you can know how to do it, but actually doing it is completely different, you know?
You just gotta get that comfort level up and a lot of just familiarity with that feeling.
Exactly.
You know, many years ago, after my first novice season, the following season, I did a test in April at Barber, and there was a whole bunch of pros that came there because that's like the first big track day for STT that happens at a big major racetrack that they do pro rounds at. And
Yeah.
I remember I rode with Jake Lewis for like 2 years.
Really?
That was about it. I mean, I
Yeah.
was still just a novice, but he was a professional. And I was
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly. I'm telling you,
this is nuts.
it's crazy. These superbike riders, I mean, they are no joke, these guys. I mean, you know, the pace they're doing is just, and they're doing consistent too. You know, consistent every single lap, a tenth of a second off of each lap. And the superbike, you know, the superbike races are long races. They're, you know, 20, 25 laps, whatever they are, but that's a long freaking race, man. You know, like at full tilt, at full, you know, throttle the entire time. That's no joke, man. No joke.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about Daytona again for a second, I was at when we were there for ARMA weekend, vintage bikes. It was the first time I did a vintage weekend, and there definitely were different crashes. There's a lot older crowd, so when they crashed, they got hurt more. But but we
Yeah, I
were
can imagine. Yeah.
we
A lot
were
of canes in the paddock.
doing some longboarding at night, just having fun, drinking beers, hanging with the crew, the corner working crew, and we were going around through the tunnel on the longboard and trying to get as much speed as we could, and just going down that, filming it, and having a blast. And then we had a golf cart, so taking the golf cart around and doing laps, hanging on to the golf cart while you're loading.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole fun and going to the racetrack, you know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
making memories, you're having fun with people who have the same interests as you, you know?
For sure, and no one fell down 17 miles an hour. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I wanted to do the 200 this year if I was able to pick up a ride or something like that, but I think it's with that Ducati V2 and the GSX-R 750 now racing in that class, it's just, if you're on like an R6 or something like that, good luck, man, you know, because you're severely underpowered.
You do some engine work, right?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can, but dude, I mean, those 750s, they put out ridiculous power. You know, like they're fast bikes. Obviously, in the corners, you can go about the same speed, but for a track like Daytona, it's not a corner track. You know, it's all about literally just being on the throttle. So it's power wins on that track. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. So if you have a high horsepower bike compared to if you got 10 horsepower over a bike at Daytona, I mean, you're at a massive advantage. Massive advantage.
It'd be really hard to qualify if you had a stock 600 now.
Exactly.
Bar even tighter.
Yep. 100%, man. 100%.
And these new rules, you know, I saw was out there. Josh Heron, he was out there with his Ducati V2 just ripping. And it was funny. The corner worker next to me was saying, "Why is he going so fast? He's already at like 30."
See, like, and he's not even going to win. He's literally just there to test. You know, that's all he's doing. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, if he's in last place, he'll probably, you know, pit during mid race. He doesn't care. But he's just testing for that bike for the Daytona 200. You know.
For sure, it's just practice for him.
Exactly. Literally just practice. But yeah, I'm very curious to see where that super sport class goes. You know, in the next, you know, couple years, because the amount of rule changes they're doing. I mean, they're really pushing out, you know, the R6 and the other 600s, you know, bringing in that V2 and that 750 now.
No more R6 has gone away.
I know. So we'll see what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to come out with like an R9 or something like that, because I know they have the MT09. So maybe they'll come out with like huh?
I got the R7. I think is supposed to release it. Maybe.
Yeah, well, the R7 is actually a twins bike. So they have the R7, but it's a twins bike. So it's actually only has like, I think like 90 horsepower or 100 horsepower or something like that. So the R6 is actually faster than the R7 because of like displacement.
That's confusing, but I see how they did it.
Yeah, it's super confusing because everyone thought when the R7 came out, you're like, oh, dude, it's gonna be a fast. You know, I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, you know, we're gonna get a faster bike, and it's like, no, dude, it's the R6 is faster. What the heck's going on here?
So tell me about the decision to up from the 600 class to the 1000 class instead of going to the twins? Do you feel like the twins is a step down?
So no, I think just me personally, being a bigger guy, the twins class, you're still dealing with a lot of these smaller riders. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of the junior cup guys, still 16, 17 years old riding these twins bikes. And for me personally, like I said, I'm making my pro debut and I wanna race at a competitive level. And I think at a certain point I can. And that's just how my mindset is and how competitive I am, that I know at some point, hopefully in my career, I'll be able to go out there and compete for podium positions. But I think the right step for me was hopping on a 1000, just how my riding style is, and especially the stock 1000 class is made more for the privateers, the guys like me. Where if I went to the super sport class, you have the factory teams. Twins Cup, I don't think you have factory team. You might have factory teams in Twins Cup, but I just thought, me personally, I didn't think Twins Cup would fit my style. So I thought, I'll hop on the 1000 and see where it goes. But I'm super excited. I'll be on a ZX10, Graves built ZX10. So we'll see how it goes. But it's super exciting, man. It's super exciting. I'm very excited for the year to come, and it's given me hope. A rider I actually did the endurance race with, Mike Selby, he podiumed at NJMP, so it kind of makes you feel like, okay, he wasn't on a factory team or anything like that. He's a guy like me. He's been riding Moto America for a while though. I think he has been riding since even before it was Moto America. I think back in AMA. So he definitely has a lot of experience. But it's cool to see that. It's cool to see a guy not show up in a big factory bus and go out there and podium a race.
Yeah, and what year is your race?
It's a 21, so it's a 2021. So I
2 years of the manufacture date. Is that right?
Yeah. So I have one more year of contingency on the bike, and then I'll probably, I don't know, maybe get rid of it or something like that. But it was too good of a deal not to pick up, so I just kind of had to hop on it compared to building, because through my sponsor Hudson Valley, the whole thing was I was going to get a 22, build it, and then go from there. But this deal hopped up on the table. I'm like, I can't let that go. It was just too good of a deal, because the bike, when I say it's like fully built, I mean, it's got everything. So, for the amount of money I'm paying for it, I was like, it's a no brainer. I'll take the only 1 year contingency for that.
Yeah. And you can always sell it and get a 2023.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, is that, and that's why I wanted to go with like a bike that's built by Graves, is because it has that name where it's like, okay, you have the build sheet and people know it's getting all the best parts put in the bike,
Sure. Every replacement needs to be and just maintained very well.
Exactly. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, man, I'm super pumped to make my pro debut. You should definitely corner work for NJMP that round. Come out there and
you see, like I said, I'm confirmed for doing 6 Moto America rounds. So Daytona, COTA, Road Atlanta, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Barber.
You will be at Jersey.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Perfect, man. Yeah, that'd be great. We definitely got to link up for sure. It's I think Jersey, actually, I think they have like one of the biggest show outs in terms of Moto America. I think the crowds are always huge there, and I'm pretty sure all the riders always say that's one of their favorite tracks to race at, because of the crowd there, because of how much love they get and how much they're supported.
Yeah, that's one of them. I to be visiting a whole bunch of new tracks this year, but Barber last year was not the greatest turnout because it was just raining so much. There was
it's that's gonna happen. Obviously, you're gonna get some rainy days. Yeah, Barber was a torrential downpour. I mean, that wasn't no rain out there. That was like a
monsoon or something.
Yeah, monsoon. Yeah.
But I hope to actually do America Flat Track this year at Springfield Mile, Illinois. I think that'd be pretty cool to go to.
Yeah, flat track. I want to get into flat tracking as well. I mean, I know that's one of the best training methods you can do to get better as a rider, is that flat tracking, because that really shows you the limit of where your rear is kicking out and how to really control that.
For sure. I did work at the event and Daytona again. They had flat track as well.
Really?
They had the road racing, and then they had flat track in the evening of Saturday.
Oh wow!
So we were just all corner workers. You know, we can get in for free. We have all the wristbands. So we're like, well, let's check it out. You know, it's right over here.
Yeah.
So we all, you know, got some food after real quick and then headed over to the flat area. Walked right in, sat down, and I saw they had two workers on opposite ends and just two people, and then one person that's start finish. I'm like, that's not enough people. We're still
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it wasn't that big of a track. I'm not sure what the exact distance was. Maybe an 8 mile or shorter than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, those tracks there, I don't think they're that big too. Yeah, it's like
fairly short.
Yeah, they're short tracks. You
Like
think they have
25 seconds maybe for a lap. But so I said, hey, it literally says fish my shirt right now, and I have my lanyards on and everything. I got my whistle still. I'm like, I'm gonna go out there. Let's go out there.
Yeah. Help out.
And I brought another 15 people out there, and we helped corner work the flat track event.
There you go. That's awesome, man. Look at that.
But it was fun, and it's better than sitting down on the bleachers. I was 3 feet from the surface.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of going out there now is you're so close and you're literally on the track with these guys and they're freaking flying by you with their freaking rear kicking up dirt and stuff like that. Like that's got to be awesome, man. That's got to be a great experience.
And it's so cool to just be in that environment. I wish I brought my earplugs for that. I left them back at the tent, but it was cool to be
there. It's a little loud.
Old folks, I mean, this is ARMA, so they're totally different crowd than you normally see at a CCS event.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so totally different bikes, totally different generation of people. But there's some of them are really fast, and you can say that guy could be pro. Some guys are just out there putzing along, so you don't have to be a professional. It's just out there having fun and racing.
100%, man. 100%. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, 98% of the people in the paddock, they don't do this for a living. You know, they do this for fun. You know, and that's really what it's all about. Is just having that. Any racetrack you go to, man. Any racetrack you go to, you meet people that you make memories with, and then you consider them family. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have the same mindset. We're all in it for the same thing. So it's a sport like no other. You know.
Yeah. Then we had mini moto hooligan at the end of the event, so it's all people with e-bikes and small scooters and things there. And one of the guys, I mean, I don't know how it's legal or how they allow this, but he was out there. He had a helmet on, but he had no gloves or no suit, no boots, and he wadded it up real bad. It was like the only guy who really crashed all night, and the hooligan on the mini bike crashes, and he was pretty dazed and confused.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are the guys, popping the wheelies, doing the stoppies and stuff like that, you know. I
think he high-sided himself.
Oh, jeez.
Some guy got really close to him, and he spooked him, and then he whiskey throttled it.
Yeah. So you say you're going to be doing 6 Moto America events, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's Moto America, I feel like is the is the way to go in terms of like you're going to have fun at every event, you know what I'm saying? You're going to meet a ton of people. It's probably a, great experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And like you get to see new places like New Jersey this year I'll be going. Unfortunately, they don't pay for your travel expenses, but they do pay you for your daily pay, and I'll be helping out with the air fences, so it'll be extra pay.
Well, how do you usually get out to the event? What do you fly or you drive?
I've done a little bit of both. If it's fairly close, so far I've driven all the way to Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, but I've flown to Florida so far both times, and I plan on probably flying. I don't know. There's some of them, like I'm not just doing 6 Moto America events, and another probably 6 or 7 CCS events, and another, here's the count. 2 ARMA weekends, 2 IndyCar weekends, 6 CCS, 2 track day weekends for STT. I got 8 rounds for WERA, 1 for Formula 1, 1 for IMSA, 1 for AFT, and then 8 weekends of coaching for MSF. So
okay, that's awesome.
That's like 42 weekends.
Yeah, you got a packed weekend, really packed weekend. Hold on, Eric, I'm gonna turn on my light real quick. I was using my my window as the light, but it's getting kind of dark out here.
It's nighttime now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It can, are quick. But I have a big window in my apartment, so.
There's some natural lighting going on.
Huh?
There's that natural light going on.
Exactly. You got to have that natural light. Got to save money on the electricity bills. I got to pay for race tires. Okay, so I leave my lights off as much as I can.
Hey man, I'm just hanging out my and talking about racing.
Wait, what'd you say?
I'm just hanging out in my basement talking about racing.
That's it, man. That's it. So do you like you said, you have 35 race weekends. Is this all you do?
So the main reason why I started this podcast is to help promote my business. I run a business called EricSwahnRacing.com and ShopESR.com, two separate websites.
Okay.
And I sell parts online. So I have 34 motorsports brands that I'm an authorized vendor of.
Wow.
And I sell on eBay and Amazon and my site, ShopESR.com. And Craigslist sometimes, local marketplace, Facebook, all that.
Yeah.
But I sell racing parts. So a lot of the brands that I used and sponsored me are now my vendors. I can't list them off the top of my head.
Yeah. I'm sure you got a ton.
But yeah, like Driven Racing, M4 Exhaust, Akrapovic or Akrapovic, Slovenia. I have a lot of Italian products like Bonamici. So a lot of
that's the best part, anyways. All Italian made. That's the way to go. I'm an Italian myself. That's why I say that.
Yeah, it's good enough for Rossi. I mean, that's what he had in it.
Exactly. See, me and Rossi, we have the same taste. Okay, we eat our pasta and we're happy. Okay, just give me an Italian part to my bike. That's all I want.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just my main gig and the main money making part of this is me selling parts online. And I'm podcasting to help promote that and help people realize that I actually sell stuff. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is to what better way to promote your business than having a podcast? You know what I'm saying? Where you can.
I get to do my own ads. I get to talk about whatever I want. And one of the newest brands I have is Revit. Revit has so many products I never knew. But they have
they do a lot of suits too, right?
Race suits and jackets and pants and boots and gloves and all kinds of weather gear and rain gear, thousands of products. So that's all. But now I got to take their spreadsheet and make it upload to eBay and then upload that to Amazon. So it's all very manual labor, Excel spreadsheets, which isn't the most fun thing. But my fun is then on the weekends going to work at the racetrack.
Exactly. So I wonder if you can, like, at the racetracks also promote your business too, because that's the people you're selling to. You know what I'm saying?
I've thought about doing advertisements or paying for like getting your name on the registration sheets and all that stuff.
Yeah, or even, man, dude, honestly, I mean, it's as simple as even just making business cards and handing them out when you're done, like, because everyone's in the paddock hanging out after the races. You know what I'm saying? Just handing out, oh, hey, you need a part? Check out, ESR.
Yeah. Also, some of the tracks allow you to have canopies. So I've been on TV before in my corner working station, so my canopy would be on TV. So if I get a custom canopy with my logo on it,
exactly,
it could be a pretty good viewership.
Listen, that's what I'm trying to do now is, promote myself too. I'm starting, DiCarlo Racing. I have my hat here.
Yeah, looks like a pizza logo, like a pizza box.
See, you know what? Everyone says that. Everyone's like, "What are you delivering pizza? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nah, it's just we went with the like Italian colors to just make it, with my heritage and stuff like that." But yeah, what I'm thinking of doing actually is when I sell my shirts, I'm gonna put it in a pizza box. So when you open it up, you see my, that's gonna be my logo. Is I'll have a pizza box, you get it delivered with my T-shirt in it.
Yeah, you should play off of it. I mean, is it DiGiorno or is it DiCarlo?
Come on, don't disrespect me like that, okay? Don't disrespect me with DiGiorno frozen pizza, okay? I'm better than that, all right?
Well, I always go for the Bushimis. I don't know if you have Bushimis near you. It's like a party store.
No. See, so I grew up in New Jersey. Okay, so we have the best pizza in the world. Okay, so I'm not used to this frozen pizza stuff. I'm in Virginia now, where the pizza, you can't find any good pizza around here. So I haven't had pizza in God knows how long. But every time I go back to Jersey, I hit my spot. Pizza Town USA, best pizza in the world. Get 2 slices and a Coke, and I'm good to go.
I always go across the street. It's less than a mile from my house. There's this party store called Bushimi's. They have pizza by the slice, ready to go at all times of the day. And it's like $5 for 2 or 3 slices of deep dish Detroit style. Super cheap. So I love
I forgot Detroit's deep dish. I totally
Yep.
forgot about that. I've never had deep dish. I like my crust thin,
Yeah.
nice and crispy. You get that fold, you get a nice little crisp when you fold it.
So you're a folder?
Huh?
You're a folder?
Oh, fold out all day. You gotta fold. I don't know how they do it in Michigan. You're probably eating this with a fork and knife out there.
No fork and knife. Just with a deep dish, you can't really fold it. If you folded it, it'd be like eating 2 pieces of lasagna.
So, but there's a lot of cheese on that, right?
It's a lot of cheese, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they gotta fill it with something because there's only so much sauce you can put there.
A lot of dough. I don't know. I like to start making my own pizza.
Listen, maybe that's part of your business now. Pizza.
I don't know about commercially, just like for myself.
Well, listen, who knows? Maybe you're an amazing pizza maker. You start selling. You get a slice with every exhaust you buy.
Well, that's a marketing scheme right there. Free slice of pizza.
Listen, people love pizza, man. People love pizza. It's just science, okay? You give out free pizza, people are gonna come, okay? It's just science, man. I'm telling you.
So I should give a discount for every. I could do like a coupon for listeners in every order.
Exactly. See, there you go. Look, we're making $1 million ideas right now. We're
Make it happen. See, ideas are easy. It's execution that's the problem.
Another time, coming full circle, man. Coming full circle. Back to the execution part. Right. Everyone can say it's easy. Everyone knows how to make money, but not everyone can. Okay.
It's hard, man. Running a business, it's not easy. It's a whole up and down roller coaster.
100%, man. I'm in construction. I'm a project manager for a construction company. And yeah, man, I see the same thing. It's tough. I deal with it every day, whether it's something, production, workers not showing up or anything like that. And even like ordering, you order something, it's not coming to you on time and you got to ship it to the customer. So now you're losing money on, sending it overnighted when it should have never been overnighted, so business is definitely, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. People think you could just jump into it and you'll make money. It's not how it works.
I mean, it's certainly possible, but it's not there's a post. I love this guy, Tim Ferriss. He's one of my favorite authors. He inspired me a lot on kind of starting this type of business. And he said, "Oh, you could start $1 million business this weekend."
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. Like, how?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but if you have the right product to enough people, like Elon Musk, I think one time sold $20 million worth of flamethrowers in like 7 hours or something ridiculous. He had,
but he needed to start with $20 million to buy those flamethrowers to sell it that quick.
Yeah,
that's where it comes in. Is like you need money to make money at the end of the day. That's just that's just the way it is. So if you don't have the money, then you have to take out a loan for the money. So when you take out a loan for the money, that's when you're really, that's why you're not making as much money as you can, because you have to pay off your loan and on top of that and everything else. But dude, owning your own business, I think, is the best thing to do because, you're your own boss, you make your own hours, you do what you want, obviously, there's pros and there's cons to everything. But me personally, I mean, I'll be starting my own company in about 2 years. So we'll see how that goes, but it's definitely a fight out there,
Yeah, and it's like, man, I could probably do a business way faster if I took a loan, but I probably end up spending money I didn't need to spend.
Exactly. And if you don't need to do it, there's no sense of putting yourself in that debt. You know what I'm saying?
I would rather do it slower with less risk than to do it fast and have it crash and down.
Exactly. See, you should have just took out a loan for 20 million, bought a bunch of flamethrowers and sold it, dude. What are we doing here?
It's about to, I don't know what the storm outlook looked like, but we're about to get hit, I think, with the biggest storm they said in 7 to 9 years.
Really? Out in Michigan?
I think there's about 14 inches of snow coming in the next couple days.
Crap. Wow.
Some people get a few hours, but we're not used to that over here.
Wait, but you're in Michigan, right?
Yeah, but we have like maybe a snow on the ground. Out west, my brother lives in Grand Rapids area. I'm just near north of Detroit, so we don't get a ton of snow. Sometimes we get hit, but I haven't needed to use the shovel yet this year.
Wow. Even in Virginia, where I didn't expect it to snow that much. We got like 6 or 7 inches one day with a big storm. But Yeah, it's I was trying to get away from the snow. I don't like the winter, man. Definitely do not like the winter. I'm not a winter guy at all. You know, I grew up in Jersey where, you know, we have pretty harsh winters, but I'm trying to get away from that, you know.
Yeah. For a long time growing up, middle school, high school, I was snowboarding every Friday in the wintertime, hockey and all that stuff. But nowadays, I just rather drive to the snow and live in the warmth so I can go outside and walk where my air doesn't hurt my face.
Exactly, exactly. Like I have two dogs. Like I gotta, when it's cold out, I gotta go out and walk them. And I'm like, my dogs don't even want to be outside right now. Nonetheless, me, you know. So it's like, well, what are we doing here? You know, get me down to Florida, South Carolina, wherever it's nice, you know, all year long, and get me away from the snow.
Well, actually, I'm not just talking. I'm actually looking at places, maybe buy a house in Florida. And
Really?
around, I'm like, man, where do I want to be? I don't know. Because Florida's super conservative. Like, I don't know if I want
Yeah.
to be in Florida. They got a lot of old people, but it's right next to Daytona. And I'll probably be in Daytona at least like 3, 4, or Florida at least maybe 5, 6 times this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe I should be in Florida. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes sense. Or somewhere near Florida, you know, where at least you could drive, maybe like, you know, Georgia, South Carolina, whatever, you know, so at least you can make a driving distance to there. You know, like you said, I mean, if you're there a lot of the time out of the year, it makes more sense to be there. And honestly, you know, I'm pretty sure it's pretty cheap to live down there. It's not too expensive, obviously, based off the city you pick, but I mean, property tax. I mean, from where I was at in Jersey, I own a house in Jersey as well. And it's like, it's stupid to live there, man. It's literally, it doesn't make sense. It's just so expensive.
Yeah, and I've been renting for the last all of my life. I don't own a house yet, so
Yeah.
I'd be nice to finally get something that I own and I'm not throwing my money away.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, yeah, it's definitely, you know, owning it makes you feel a lot better because you know the money's actually going to the home kind of thing, you know. But honestly, listen, there's nothing wrong with renting whatsoever. I mean, it's you got to do what you got to do. And there, like I said, there is nothing wrong with renting whatsoever. But just me personally, it felt like, because I rented too, you know, I was renting, so I'm like, you know what, let me just try to, you know, save up, put some money into a home, and then go from there.
Yeah, and something else that I'm pondering about doing is I'm looking over here because I have 7 rows of shelving that I have physical inventory I started with.
Really?
Some CDs, DVDs, books, clothing, garden equipment, everything you can think of is what I started to do selling on eBay. So
Yeah.
I still have a lot of that stuff that hasn't sold. And so I'm thinking about, man, I should probably dump all this stuff or donate it in bulk because there's like 1,000 items or more of all that stuff. So
Yeah. Have you ever seen those guys? They buy those big things from like UPS or the post office where it's like items that just like were lost in transit or whatever.
oh
You
yeah,
can buy it for like $50, but you can find like an Air Mac in there or whatever.
yeah, they're cool. There's a lot to make money, and what I'm trying to do with this particular business is build it in a way that I don't have to run it eventually.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that means that I can't have physical inventory here because then I'd have to have some shipping that order.
Yeah.
So that was fine when I started to get established, but now I have 34 brands. I don't need this stuff anymore. This
Yeah.
stuff isn't selling that well anyway, and most of it's $100 to begin with, so it's not profitable. If I were to spend that money on selling race suits and race parts, it's a way better use of my time.
Yeah, exactly. You make your way up to now, you know, you're starting wherever you're at now, then you have your own shop, and then when you have your own shop, then you have a couple stores, you know, and then you work your way where like you never got to show up to work again.
Yeah, so it's cool. You know, I'm trying to do everything to not have a normal day.
Yeah.
And I want to just
That's the goal. Everyone wants to retire early. You know, that's the goal, to just kind of, you know, do what you want to do. If you want to race, want to golf when you're older, you know, at least you don't have to worry about it.
yeah, I just want to get my income covered so you can just live your life and do what you want to do. It's like why most people don't just go to work every day and go to what they don't do. So I'm like, well, what's the most cool thing that I could do with my life, enjoy me, that I would enjoy myself doing? So I'm like, well, I would love to race. I just need to make $200,000 a year to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's the problem. Is this racing is an expensive sport, man. It's super expensive. I mean, you know, it's without the sponsors or, you know, supporting me and stuff like that, it's very tough to go through a full race season, nonetheless on a 1000 now, where you're going through, 3-4 sets of tires a weekend,
And what I was just looking at the Kawasaki 600s. Those are pretty much $10,000 on the showroom floor.
Oh yeah.
That's an amazing price.
No, yeah, they're bang for your buck. It's one of the best bikes, I think. For 10 grand, you get a 600, but one of the fastest 600s they make. So me personally, if I was still staying on the 600, I would go with the ZX6 without a doubt.
Although it's not I guess it is. Kawasaki's been doing really well for the last couple of years, but Yamaha finally took over with Top Rack.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see a little change of the guard.
Yeah.
And
but definitely, I think Kawasaki, it's weird you don't see them in GP anymore or anything like that. They're in World Superbike and all the Superbike classes. But you don't even you rarely ever see them in Moto America Superbike. You see them. I mean, stock 1000, they're flooded with the ZX10s. But in terms of the Superbike class, I mean, it's Suzuki and Yamaha.
You can have maybe Jason Farrell in Superbike, Corey Alexander maybe, but he's in.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, but he races the stock 1000. He races the Superbike Cup. So his bike, when he races it, isn't even Superbike modified. It's still stock 1000 in that class. And he still does really well and great, but he's still, severely underpowered compared to these bikes.
Yeah. I would love to see Kawasaki more into it. That was the first one. I've had a bunch of them. I always just felt comfortable with the machine. I've always been a little different. Everybody's on the Yamahas. I can't be on the Yamaha. I got to be on something different.
Yeah. The problem with this sport is when you go too different, it's very expensive. Like if you want to go really different and go like Ducati or BMW or something like that, that's when you really got to spend the big bucks.
Let's go ahead and get a Moto2 bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why not? I mean, listen, let's just spend $100 grand, get a Moto2 bike. Yeah, you'll be the fastest guy in the paddock. No problem.
One of those Triumphs. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I know a guy who actually has one. It's like a Moto2 bike. I think it's got like, I forget the horsepower in it, but the bike only weighs like 300 pounds. Like it's full carbon fiber, and the thing's just an animal. But like
140 horsepower maybe?
Exactly. I think it's like 140 horsepower, and the bike weighs like 300 pounds, like wet, and it's freaking crazy, man. I mean, the bike is unreal. You're also paying probably 50 grand for the thing.
Yeah. And maybe even making the frame lighter, putting holes in it, right? They drill it.
Yeah. I don't know what they do. I just know the thing's a freaking monster, man.
Yeah. So is there anything on your mind you wanted to talk about today?
I mean, just, kind of just getting into racing and just, what I want to do with, DiCarlo Racing is obviously, take it to the pro level and be a top rider. That's obviously a goal of mine. And, I want to try to give back to the race community as well. Because like I said, I've only been riding for 3 years, but I've been so welcomed into the race community and everyone's been so nice. I just want to go back. I want to, show riders how, teach them how to ride, teach them, because it really is simple. You just got to put it down and go out there and just really do it. So, but yeah, my plan is kind of to take DiCarlo Racing to the next level and hopefully be a big name one day. But, obviously we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, man, like I said, even if it's not me on the bike, riding for DiCarlo Racing, we'll sell our pizza boxes out there and try to get the name out there that way.
Do you think even if you're not riding the bike, you'll field another one to be on your team kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, hopefully one day the team does get to that point, or DiCarlo Racing gets to that point where I'm able to not only support myself, but support another rider. Because I for sure know I'm not the best rider in the paddock. I mean, listen, I've only been riding for 3 years. I'd say 99% of the people in the paddock who race Moto America have been doing it since they were, kids. They started on dirt bikes. They started, racing at a very young age. And I'm not saying that's a problem of mine or that's anything. I'm just saying that it is what it is. I know for a fact I'm not going to get to MotoGP. I don't think I'm ever going to make it to, the Superbike level that those guys are at. But I can definitely try to push myself and try as hard as possible. But I also have to know reality. It's you got a dream, but you can't have a unrealistic dream.
Delusional.
Exactly. You can't be delusional in this sport because you'll just end up wasting a lot of money, and that's exactly what I don't want to do. And listen, Moto America is great because anyone can sign up, and as long as you qualify, you can race. But me personally, if I'm not at a competitive state where I'm out there not gonna try to get in the top 10, then there's no point in me racing. You know.
So be just putzing around the back of the field. You want to
Exactly. Yeah. And listen, there's no problem with guys who want to do that or just want to say, hey, I race Moto America. Listen, all the power to you. Go out there and do it. It's definitely great to get out there, get that experience. But me personally, when I get that experience, I want to. I'm never going to be the kind of guy to do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be competitive, and like I said, if I'm not at that competitive pace, I'm not going to race. I'm not going to do Moto America. But I'm going to push myself to however I can this year to get to that pace. And I don't see it being a problem to get there, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
What would you say are some of your strong points for your riding or racing?
I think I'm very good on the brakes. I think I'm very, very good on the brakes. I late brake pretty well. I think that's definitely a huge strong point of mine. I think also I'm very good at flowy tracks too, where a lot of lean angle and holding that down. So I think that's one of my strong points as well. But it's it's a mix of things. It's not just one strong point. You got to put kind of try to put it all together. But I think definitely braking is one of my things. My goal is to have like one stoppy in a turn one this year. That's the goal on the bigger bike. But we'll see what happens.
Like
Exactly. I want to pull a top rack this year. Get the wheel in there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for the season to come, and I think there's the Stock 1000 class has, especially with Brandon Passion there this year. I mean, it has a ton of competition. They just said Hayden Gillum is going to be full-time racing a Stock 1000 class this year as well. So, and then you obviously have guys like Corey, who's always going to be on the podium. He's just always the top rider in that class. Other guys, Yates, Gilbert, that class is a very, very competitive class. So I have a lot of work ahead of me. I definitely have
Wyman in there.
Huh?
You got Travis Wyman in there still?
Yeah, exactly. Travis Wyman. We're actually going to be. I got sponsored by a helmet, Bill Nola. It's going to be actually him and me and Travis Wyman are going to be one of the only riders in the country to be sponsored by that helmet.
Nice.
Yeah, so super excited about that. I was talking to Travis for a little bit. Seems like a great guy. So super excited. So we'll see what happens this year, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah, for sure. Stay in touch with Travis. He is not only a coach for motorcycles, but for sports cars and wheel cars.
Really?
Yeah, he's a paid coach for all three and a professional racer on top of that.
Wow.
And it's like, man, how do I do more of that?
Exactly. I mean, listen, that's the goal one day is to, get to the sports car range. I mean, that's really, that's a ton of fun, man. That's a ton of fun. It's just a lot of money. Like I said, man, it's a lot of cash you gotta have. That's why you gotta become like a coach like him. I'm sure you probably just drive everyone else's cars. Like,
exactly. They have a fleet. They have a fleet that's already prepared for you. It's like, here's your car, sir.
Exactly. That's sick, man. That's awesome. Can't beat that. Cannot beat that.
I mean, if good enough, you don't have to buy the car.
Yeah, exactly. They give it to you, That's awesome. That's awesome for sure.
But so tell me about supporters. I know you got a couple of people behind you.
So my title sponsor this year is going to be Hudson Valley. I was able to work with them this year. I met Corey riding with Jason Pridmore out at JP43 in California at Chuckwalla, and we kind of just built a relationship. And that was before my first expert season this year, and I came out and I had a great season. I won multiple championships. I pretty much podiumed every race I was in, and it was a year I was like, okay, I can be competitive out here with these guys, and I think I could do something, and I think I can take it to the next step of racing Moto America. And I reached out to a couple guys, and I was talking to Corey's, and we worked something out and was able to get a contract down, and get supported by them this year to help with my racing for 2022. And then my other big sponsor is Moto XT. They're a local shop in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. best guys in the world. They have everything. They're kind of like you, they sell stuff online. They have a big following in the Filipino community as well. And these guys, I'm telling you, you need something, you hit them up and they'll have it for you, no problem. Great pricing, just all around great guys. And, I'm glad to have them in my corner for the 2022 season as well. And then obviously, like I was talking, I got picked up by Bill Mola. They're a helmet company. They're kind of like KYT. They're making their name out there. They're a new company, but awesome helmets.
Spell the name of that brand?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How do you spell the name of that brand?
Bilmola. Bill Mola.
Okay, yeah.
So Bill Mola, and then also Thermal Tech tire warmers I was able to pick up as well. So their helmets are actually coming in this week. I'll be able to get them in. So I'll make that announcement this week, hopefully, and then make an announcement for Hudson Valley as well. But and then obviously I have other companies like Fresh Oil & Co. That's it's a clothing brand. Great guy as well. Ray Wong owns it. He's a guy I actually grew up riding with. I went to one of his first track days when I was first riding, and we created a friendship, and it's just a great guy to have behind your back to support you. He knows a lot of people in the race community, and is a great guy to know.
Yeah, and you mentioned on the brakes, so could you share some of your secrets? What are some of your tips for braking better than your competitor?
Just brake and hold on, okay? Just fucking brake after the guy in front of you. That's all you got to say, is hopefully make the turn. That's kind of what I put it down to. Is just grab that freaking brake and see and hope for the best. But there's it's obviously certain ways to do it. I usually in the practice before push myself, push the brake marker. Like if I'm usually pretty confident that I could, outbrake most of the guys out there, except for obviously, a couple riders. Yeah, Xavier Zaya is a demon on the brakes, man. Demon on the brake. I mean, that guy is no joke on the brakes. Like I remember we're racing in North Carolina, and I'm behind him, and he brakes, then I brake, and I just see the smoke, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I thought his motor exploded. Yeah. But it was just him backing the rear end so much that it was creating smoke. I'm like, holy shit. And like he's just going and throwing. I'm like, okay, now we're getting, now we're getting places here. But it was man, it's just one of those things where, I think late braking, it just comes down to just pushing it, just really pushing. That's a big push the limit thing, is where, you say, I'm going to brake here, but when you're going really fast, you're like, holy shit, I don't think I'm going to make that brake zone. You most likely will. It's just, you got to commit to the turn,
Confidence as well, smooth. And also your braking is really important. Once you get to the corner, you have to not let off the brakes, but you can't just completely let off to zero. You have to slowly let off to the apex of the corner.
Yeah, so there's a fine line, of making that corner, but it all comes down to feel. I'm a big feel guy on the track, where a lot of people use like reference points. I use reference points as well, but I'm just like I use a lot of feeling. I definitely use a lot of feeling on the bike.
Feeling that the front end starts to chatter, are you probably not going to keep trying to make that apex? You might stand it up a little bit, so you're not going to crash. You have lived to fight another day. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, if you really think you're coming in way too hot, there's plenty of times where I'm like, okay, let me just stand it up and ride off,
Yeah.
And it happens, and it's gonna happen when you're pushing the limit. I mean, it happens with professional riders, MotoGP riders, everyone does it, because they're all pushing the limit. They're really trying to they're trying to get in front of the guy in front of them. They're trying to beat them. They're trying to win the race. And it comes down to it. And listen, like I said, I'm so new to the sport. I'm still learning my own racecraft. I'm still learning every race I go out there how to actually race. Because there is certain things to do. And I've made mistakes, all year, and there's times where my mistake caused me to not finish the race because I crashed. But it's picking that bike back up and saying, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's a learned mistake, and then going back out there and fixing it.
And tell me about, have you ever had any contacts with any other riders?
Yeah, so then there's been a couple contacts with some riders. One was it's off the start, and we're at Summit Point, and my starts are always usually very good where I can like, start in the back of the grid and work my way up, no problem. But I'm in the back of the grid and I start, and it's about 3 riders wide coming into turn 1, and we're all, going fast. And I go all the way onto the inside to be the 4th rider, pretty much all lined up in a row. And we all break at the same braking marks. I break at my regular braking mark, but now I'm thinking I'm way too inside. I'm never going to make this turn. So I'm literally like wheel in the air, trying to stop this bike as hard as I can. And I end up hitting a rider in front of me. It was not good. Like, it was so embarrassing. Thank God he was okay. Thank God I was okay. But I immediately after picked up the bike. He picked up his bike, came in a pit. I rode right next to him. I'm like, dude, whatever I did, I'm paying for. I ended up paying for his parts on the bike and stuff like that. But because I knew it was my fault, I knew I just made a mistake, and obviously mistakes happen. But I owned up to it, and I said, hey, listen, this is completely my fault, my bad, man. Let me try to help you out here, and I'll pay for all the parts, whatever I cost on the bike.
Yeah,
And then there was
realize, that there's no insurance. You can't just make an insurance claim and get that money.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's why I think, at least me personally, that's how I like to do stuff, because I know this sport costs money, and accidents happen, of course. But if you're at the end of it, and I'm not saying you have to pay for it, but if you're at the end of it and it's your fault, I mean, take responsibility for it, say, hey, listen. Yeah. Yeah. And then there was one, I'm battling a guy in a 750, and I'm on a 600 for the heavyweight class. And the guy can ride, man. He's a great rider. Untitled Chapter. He's been riding for a really long time. One of the best guys in the paddock, man. Freaking just always has a smile on his face. But he's an older guy. I mean, he's literally been riding for probably 20 years. And we're battling each other, and he's on a 750, so he has a lot more power than me. And like on the straight, I'm telling you, he takes off, and I'm on a freaking clapped out R6. So I get him on the corners and stuff like that, but he just has that little bit of an edge where, like, he just pulls on me, and I'm like, and I get frustrated in my head because I know I can get past him, and once I get past him, I'll be good, and I can, just kind of pull away. But he makes it, and he no rider wants to give up a position no matter what, what I'm saying, like, even if he knows the guy behind you. So I try to go for this pass on the inside of turn 6, where it's a very short run, but I go out on turn 5, I go out on the outside of him. So now on the flip over, I'm on the inside, but I go out on the outside of him to turn 5, but he's a little bit in front of me. And then when we go for the flip over, I'm like right there on the inside, but he just did not want to give it up. And then, like, I hit his rear wheel, I flip over. Thank God he didn't crash, but he kept going. But it was that was the second time I've made contact with someone.
Dang. It's sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can turn out bad. I've made contact, I think, a dozen times or more on with other people, but fortunately I've never made anybody else crash, or knock on wood.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, man. It's definitely not a good feeling at all.
No.
But contact happens. It's when you're riding with 40 guys, everyone's doing it close to the same pace. It's bound to happen. Like, even Joe Lemandry, we're racing at New Hampshire, and we're coming around, and Joe just like, boom, hits me. I go out of, but we're both standing up, and I'm like, this freaking guy, man. And like, I try to go back at him, but he's quick too. So it was, it's fun.
Sometimes, your strategy or your strategy that you choose might be to take a line than you took last lap.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's not bad. That's not being dangerous. Now, you can't be erratic. You can't be like swerving,
exactly. Yep.
But you can take different lines.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, and that's the name of the sport. I mean, that's the way to get past people. You have to take a different line, because most of the people are on the same line, because that line is the fastest line. Okay, most people are all on the same line because that's the fastest way to go from A to B. Okay, and so most people are on that line. So you have to take a different line, and it may be a little bit sporadic and might make them jump a little bit. But if that gets you in first, if that gets you to the guy in front of you, that gets you to the guy in front of you.
Yeah, and I've been doing this game called Untitled Chapter, a sim racing type thing on PlayStation 4, and man, even going through different classes, it's pretty difficult, trying not to make contact with people and just being clean. And there's been times where I set the rating down, start from the back, just try to pass as many people as possible.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, when you do that, you're going through these corners, and you're like, man, that's the first time I went through the corner, the right line. Every time else I've been passing people 4 laps in a row. I haven't taken the right line.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm telling you, it's like I said, it's especially when you're racing with someone around the same pace as you. It just makes it that much harder. It really makes it that much harder because there's only certain spots you could get them in, and like I said, when they're around the same pace, it's just you really got to be strategic and make the right moves.
Yeah. Do you have any picks for this year? Do you play like fantasy, MotoGP or anything like that?
No, I usually I'm definitely want to get into the MotoGP fantasy, but I haven't gotten anything this year yet. Who do you have?
I don't actually officially play. I think I did one of the years, but I lost interest and forgot to do it the rest of the rounds.
Do you
But
watch MotoGP?
yeah, but I can't always predict who's going to be winning. Even though I've been around the sport for so long, you just never know. The riders don't even know who's going to win.
Dude, I mean, no one saw Bagnaia coming out this year like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have never guessed him. Everyone thought Fabio was an easy win, but it wasn't easy, man. Bagnaia really gave him, a run for his money.
Years ago, I definitely saw something in Fabio Quartararo in Moto3 at Jerez. He made this incredible pass at the last corner and got like two guys. I was like, holy crap, this guy's got something. And ever since then, I was watching him. But I did not think he was going to walk away with the title soon.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, he's super young, man. And he had an up and down season too. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a very up and down season where in the beginning, he was doing good. Won a lot of races, but at the end, towards the end, Bagnaia really showed up, man. He really showed up.
And talk about up and down season with this suit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No pun intended on that one. Yeah.
But what actually happened to me later on? I did a supermoto track day, starting like 250, and XR 100, I think it was. And I have pictures of me with my suit halfway down. I'm like, I had no idea. I actually didn't even know it was undone.
Same thing happened to me in a race, actually. All of a sudden, I'm riding, and I'm like, why is it like, it got like really windy. And I like looked down, and my suit's just popped open.
How do you stop to like take your hands off to do this?
I literally had to keep racing. I actually on the straight, I didn't want them to see me and like black flag me. So I was hugging my tank as much as possible so they wouldn't see my suit open, because else they would have been like, all right, gotta come back, meatball.
Yeah, for sure. All the corner workers, it's amazing. Like you think maybe not everybody's always paying attention, but we do clearances and we look for suits on. Helmet straps undone. Sometimes
you got it, because that's helping the rider, especially because it's not even like they try to do it. Sometimes they just forget,
And sometimes the rider will have a big beard or something, and they'll think that's a chin strap flying in the breeze. And so like, no.
And that's actually their beard hair.
Yep, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes people will mistake those tethers on race suits for the airbag system as like from his bike. Like, no, it's just tether.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, that's why you really got to have people who know, racing as well as corner workers, because it's, you would pick that up over someone who, doesn't know racing or hasn't been around racing that long,
It's usually the people who are car corner workers, the motorcycles, they'll say, oh, driver. I'm like, it's not a driver. These are
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can tell little things, and it's cool. You can, after a while, you can tell who's on the other side of the who's. They don't always identify themselves, but
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. No, for sure, man. That makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
For sure, and you look like a YouTuber too. You got some content out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm definitely going to try to do a lot more YouTube this year. My goal is to actually start like speaking in person. Like stuff like this. Post more videos. That's my whole plan. Is I'm really trying to push my social media and take that to the next level and start getting a following to really start pushing, DiCarlo racing. That's my main goal, is more social media this year. Really start, pushing that harder. That's why I'm so glad you're allowing me on the podcast. This is, another huge step in the right direction. But doing stuff like this, it definitely, YouTube's going to be huge for me. I want to buy like a nice camera and start maybe, not, vlogging, I guess, or whatever really you want to call it, but more doing on track stuff, because what I want to do is, show riders, hey, it's not people, you don't have to ride for 10, 15 years to start racing and start racing at a competitive level. You know, you could go out there and start doing it. And I want to, you know, kind of show people the process of, you know, maybe, you know, getting out there and just getting the confidence of doing a track day, nonetheless, you know, hopping on a race weekend, you know? So that's really what I want to try to do, is just, you know, help others and get more people into the sport. Because honestly, there's a huge motorcycle community, but a lot of people are intimidated by it. You know, there's a lot of intimidation of getting on the track. You don't know how many people I talk to are like, I'm not ready for that. I'm like, dude, you are. If you know how to, you know, shift a motorcycle and turn it, you're ready to go on a track. You know, so many people that just are so weary of going out there because they see, you know, pictures of, you know, having your elbow down and going, you know, 120 around a corner or whatever it is, you know, and they get intimidated by it.
Yeah, it's something I think it'd be cool to try to get more riders into it. Maybe go to bike nights or something, hand out business cards would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But you know, here's a story for you. A good friend of mine, John Hawkins, who came on the podcast like 70 episodes ago. He was I was riding on the street in like 2011, I think it was, and 2010. It was like 2000, probably 9 to 11 on the street. And then I was getting into track days, and he wasn't really riding the track. And I was like, man, you were just as fast as me. I'm sure you do great at this.
Yeah.
And a couple years later, he finally got into it, got a track bike, started doing track days, became a novice, became an expert. Now he's a WERA national champion, and he's done a couple of Moto America rounds. He raced at Indy this last year. I think it was
wow.
So like super talented guy, started later did, and became a professional. And he's still involved with it, and he's not done. And it's just amazing to see like a street guy transform into a national champion right in front of you.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's very simple. It's like people think, you know, it's all this thing. You have to have this, you have to have that. No, man, you just got to go out there, get your seat time in there, start riding, and you can definitely do it. You know, this is a sport with a lot of opportunities. The bikes are amazing nowadays. You know, so even if you hop on a 1000, I mean, you have the traction control and stuff like that. I definitely tell people, you know, don't hop on a 1000 for your first bike. I think hopping on the 600 or a smaller bike is, you know, best way to go. And I think it actually helps you in the long run as well, because now you're using, you know, more of corner speed than just hitting that throttle and going, you know?
Yeah, I would even recommend, if you've never ridden a bike before, grab a Ninja 400 for like $7,000, brand new off the showroom floor, and this track pretty much stock. You don't really need to do much.
Yeah.
Work, maybe change an exhaust. That's not even really necessary. And just track and learn, do track days. And the problem is, if you start in a machine with, say, 600 cc's or even 1,000, it's going to be so much power that you're going to be focused on not trying to crash instead of trying to figure out, you know, the right way to ride. So huge advocate for the lowest CC possible, and then move up. Don't buy your dream bike for your first bike. It's not. It's not how it goes. You gotta buy something small and start small, and then upgrade.
Exactly, and especially for people who want to go to the track. I mean, if you go out there and buy, you know, a $30,000 BMW S1000R, you're going to say that's my baby. I don't even want to put it, you know, I would never want to crash the thing. So that's, you know, also going to wear you away from going to the track, because you're going to see all these crashes and these guys, you know, sliding out and everything like that. And you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. Rather just putz around town. And you know what, if you want to do that too, fine. But, you know, I think no matter what, it's a safer environment at the track, you know.
Oh, for sure. There's no sand. There's not many turtles.
Exactly. Yep. That's
hopefully everybody's going the same direction.
Everyone's going the same direction. Yeah, you don't have to worry about someone texting, you know, or anything out there. You know, no one's going to be Snapchatting while knee dragging. Okay, they're all good. They're all doing the same thing, just going out there and riding. You know, where that's what I'm saying. I mean, on the street, I only rode on the street for about a year, if that. And the stuff you see is just, you know, crazy. You're like, do I do this while driving? It's crazy, because you see people texting, not even looking at the road, swerving, oh shoot, you know, and get back into the lane. But if you were there, you know, you're dead.
I think I saved a meme. I just looked through it today. It was like a bullet car going 5 miles an hour has the same amount of energy as a bullet.
Really?
I don't know if that's the right statistic, but yeah, something along those lines. It's like it's a massive amount of energy in
Oh,
your
100%. Yeah, exactly. I can imagine. Well, you think about it, a bullet weighs, what, an ounce, 2 ounces? And you have a car that weighs 4,000 pounds. You don't need to go the same speed to have the same kind of force of that.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you don't realize how much force is behind that. You're driving a bullet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Literally. I tell people, I'm like, listen, man, at the end of the day, a car is literally a weapon. It's literally, you can use it as a weapon, literally, so.
I'll talk about using the car as a weapon. Was a woman I follow, a cyclist on Instagram. They were riding their bicycles down a dirt road in a huge group, maybe 20 or 30 riders, and little rural road, maybe Arkansas or something. I'm not exactly sure.
Uh-huh.
And this woman in her pickup truck floors it, tries to like spray him with dirt, and she loses control and now is up on the ravine and on the right side of her car, passenger side, and got it all on film.
You got
And,
it.
and it's like they're trying to endanger cyclists because I don't know, I can't speculate why, but you've seen it happen so many times. I've been riding my bicycle outside and people yell at you and they think that the only reason you're riding your bicycle is because you lost your license, not because you.
Exactly. Yeah. No one thinks about exercise anymore. That's what's wrong with America. Is everyone's like, the thing is, everyone needs to get from A to B as quick as possible. And they're like, well, why is this bike only doing 20 miles an hour? This guy has to get out of my way, or else I'm going to, freaking kill myself. So they go crazy. You know what I'm saying? They go insane, and then that's where the road rage happens and everything like that. And they run these bikers off the road. And they don't think anything that this man or woman is, trying to better themselves by riding a bike,
They could be like your kid or your dad or
Exactly.
anyone.
Could be
So,
anyone.
I've actually been hit on my bicycle and on my motorcycle years ago.
Really?
I was not injured. It was fine. But it could have been a lot worse, and that's so scary. And the day after I got hit on my bicycle, I bought a headlight and taillight because it was dark and it was nighttime and they probably didn't see me. Maybe they didn't look. I don't know.
Dude, it's dangerous out there, man. Even on a bike, man, I'm telling you, it's dangerous because, like I said, there's so many distractions on the road now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
You think
sorry, it doesn't matter how good you are because look at Nicky Hayden. Like he was arguably one of the best motorcycle or bicycle riders in the world.
Yep.
And it didn't matter how good he was.
It's not you whatsoever. It's not even close to you. It's the people around you. And that's what I tell everybody when they're riding on the street, like even motorcycles. I'm like, they're like, oh, no, dude, I'm pretty good. I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with you. Literally nothing to do with you. It's the people around you. You could do everything perfect. You could stop perfect. You could turn the bike perfect. You could be in the center of the road, always do everything, whatever you need to do. And all it takes is one person coming on the other side of the road, get distracted, and they hit you, and that's it.
I do have a strange fascination with watching like car crash. I want to know what happened so I can maybe get some knowledge in myself so I can maybe avoid that if I'm ever in those situations.
Yeah. Prepare yourself. Exactly. Just prepare.
Yeah.
But those situations come up quick. I'll tell you that. Definitely quick.
Yeah. And they're usually coming from where you're not expecting them.
Exactly. Split second decision making,
For sure. So, I guess I gotta wait. Post this one immediately. You said maybe next week or so.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably you could do it anytime after Saturday. So I'll make my announcement on Saturday for Hudson Valley, and then after that, we're definitely good to go. I had freaking man, this was a lot of fun for sure. I had a blast. Definitely got to do it again. Hopefully we get a little bit better service next time. But
yeah, it's all right. I'm wired in, but it's different everywhere all the time. Could be me, could be you, could be.
It's probably me, honestly. It probably is. I don't know. It says full bars, but who knows with Wi-Fi nowadays. But yeah, man, like I said, I had a blast. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we could definitely do it again soon. I hope I wasn't too talkative. I told you I talk a lot, man. So
No, you're doing great, man. I'm just trying to drag this for another 2.5 minutes so I can get to 2 hours.
Yeah, of course. What else? So again, with my race season, I mean, if anyone else is, listening, definitely follow me at DiCarlo Racing. I'll be posting pretty much this entire season, results, everything else. I'm going to be having these hats made, a little bit different design on there, but stuff like that. Really, really nice hats. I'll definitely have to send you one out, Eric. Definitely send me your address. I'll send that out to you. And then we can, kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm trying to, like I said, get my name out there and, have fun, make some new relationships, build friendships, and just try to go fast, man. That's my goal at the end of the day is definitely, get on the podium.
Yeah, that's always some good goals. Let me run through a couple of guests I got already scheduled here. Of credentials for people to is growing. Dominic Agater, current 21 World Super Sport champion. And he's also a Moto E competitor and Moto 2. Jamie Howe is a reporter for Moto America. She's and dragsters, NHRA dragster she does, I think. I got let's see, Jack Roach, Bobby Fong, Jason Uribe, World Superbike. He's been racing with John way earlier.
You're gonna have Bobby Fong on the podcast too?
Yeah, I already had him on
awesome.
episodes ago. That was, let's see, probably in the 35 with Jack Roach and Bobby Fong, actually.
Wow.
That was 2020, I think, December. I did Ian Fraley was my first Moto America Junior Cup rider. So I shouldn't Junior Cup, Mini Cup. He's the Old Valley Cup.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I actually quarter worked for him at Pittsburgh. They had the mini track there, and I was doing double duty, racing side and the minis.
Yeah, those guys. I'm telling you, those mini riders. I've done the mini GP before. They're worse than the freaking Moto America. Like they'll cut you off, no problem. Like those kids will go out there and tear you apart, man. They are no joke.
They're respectful though. Like I was impressed. I didn't see any bad moves. I didn't see any.
Yeah, no, listen, they're great. I'm telling you, they're unbelievable riders.
Very, very fast and respectful. And you talked about Ethan Chapluck and Southern Pride Performance. He was just on there for episode 69, so I talked to him for about an hour or so.
Awesome. Yeah, no, Ethan's great, man. Ethan's a really, really good guy. I'm super excited to start a program with him and have him behind me. I forgot to mention as well, Zupak Athletic. He's going to be sponsoring me as well. One of the best photographers in the paddock. I'm going to be working with him this year as well. Another great guy. He's pretty much at all of the CCS Mid-Atlantic race rounds, Atlantic race rounds, shooting, and pretty much getting all the great pictures for all the riders out there. He's also he does the triathlons, he does Ironmans, so he's going to help me training as well. But yeah, no, super excited. Ethan's also a great guy.
Very nice. So I think then number 82, I got Chloe Jones from the British Junior Super Sport, number 83. Let's see, Lucas coming on, Moto America guy, Jeff Heiser, photographer. Brendan Kettleson, and a couple others I haven't put on my list yet. But I'm excited for it, man. I've been trying to do it once or twice a week, and just
sounds like you got a packed schedule, my man. Sounds like you got a packed schedule.
Heck yeah! So thanks for coming on, talking to me, and I'll get this edited and posted. And
awesome, perfect. Hey, man, just want to say thank you again, Eric. It's been a blast. Like I said, let's definitely do it again someday. I can't believe it's 2 hours. 2 hours went by really quick. I thought, thought we were just still an hour in, but I'm super pumped for this to get out there. And like I said, man, just definitely try to post it after Saturday after my announcement, and we'll be good to go. Okay, brother.
Will do. And let's try to reconvene New Jersey and one in a year.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I said, when you're out there in New Jersey, let me know. We'll link up. I'll get you some gear. Okay, brother?
Very good. Talk to you soon.
Hey, man. Good seeing you. Nice meeting you. All right? Have a good one.
Bye-bye.